Imagine a dream so vivid, it pulls you into the very heart of your lineage, unveiling untold stories and forgotten truths. Echoes of the Ancestors explores the profound connection between who we were and who we are destined to become. This isn't just history, it's the living legacy that shapes your tomorrow. I am Ifeoma. I'm 25, born and raised in Lagos. And if you know this city, you know that sometimes it feels like the center of the world, and other times like it's about to swallow you whole. Lagos is noise horns, arguments, street hawkers, church, crusades, generator hums, Afro beats leaking from every shop. But Lagos also has silence, if you know where to listen. My own silence began in dreams. The first dream came the week I moved into my first self-contained Inyaba. It was a Saturday night, and my friends had dragged me to a birthday party in Lekki Phase 1. You know the type, neon lights, girls in BBL bodies dancing with bottles, everybody snapping for Instagram stories. I got home at 2 a.m., tired but too wired to sleep. When I finally drifted off, the dream came. I was standing on 3rd Mainland Bridge. Cars rushed past, Danfo buses swerving, Okadas flying by. But suddenly the bridge cracked in the middle, and beneath it, instead of water, I saw rows of masked ancestors paddling canoes, chanting. Their voices carried like thunder. One of them, a tall woman with white chalk across her face, pointed at me and said, "Ifeoma, the future is walking towards you. Will you know how to greet it?" I woke up gasping. At first I thought it was just party hangover mixed with stress. But the dreams didn't stop. The next one came 3 days later. I dreamt of Balogun Market, but instead of stalls and shouting traders, it was filled with glass towers, digital billboards, flying drones. The city looked advanced, futuristic. But then I turned and saw the same market in flames, traders screaming, children running, and in the smoke, the same chalk-faced woman whispered, "Your people forget too quickly. The city is hungry. Which future will you feed it?" That morning I sat in a Danfo bus to my office on Victoria Island, my chest tight. Lagos traffic was the usual horns, insults, street hawkers chasing cars, but I kept replaying the dream. When I looked out of the window, I saw something that made my stomach drop. One of the hawkers was the same man I had seen paddling a canoe beneath 3rd Mainland Bridge in my dream. He looked right at me, nodded and kept walking. I didn't tell anyone at first. Who would believe me? Lagos people already think too much of juju and madness. But it got harder to hide when the dreams started predicting real things. Like the Friday at work when I dreamt of my office building collapsing during a heavy rain. I saw the stairwell flooded, people trapped, papers floating. That same Friday around noon, the rain started and the ceiling on the 3rd floor caved in. Nobody died, thank God. But my colleagues said it was the worst flood they'd seen in the building. I didn't tell them I had seen it before it happened, or the time I dreamt of Lekki Tollgate at night. I saw young people holding candles, singing, and then silence like a tape had been cut. When I woke, I checked Twitter. The anniversary of End SARS was trending. Photos matched what I had seen in the dream. I couldn't pretend anymore. I went to my mother one Sunday evening after church. We were sitting in the living room, the fan humming, her tying wrapper over her lace blouse. I told her everything. She listened quietly, then finally said, "Ifeoma, dreams are not always for the dreamer alone. Sometimes they are messages carried through us. Your grandmother used to have such dreams too. That shook me. Nobody ever told me about grandma being different. But Mama warned me, be careful. Lagos people will want to use what they don't understand. Church people, politicians, even friends." She was right, because the dreams became harder to hide. One night, I dreamt of Falomo Bridge. I saw a billboard with a politician's face on it, but the eyes on the billboard were bleeding. 2 days later, that same politician was arrested for fraud. Another time, I dreamt of my best friend Adaeze. In the dream, she was standing in a hospital corridor crying. I called her the next morning. She laughed and said, "Abig, stop stressing me." By evening, she called back in tears her father had collapsed and was in the hospital. I told Adaeze about my dreams. At first, she said I had prophetic gifts. She even dragged me to her pastor who wanted me to join the prayer team. But after I refused, Adaeze started to act strange, as if I was carrying something dangerous. Word spread slowly. My colleagues whispered about me in the office. Neighbors avoided eye contact. And then the messages on Instagram started strangers, begging me to see their future or reveal their destiny number. I don't know how they even found my account. The worst was when a local politician sent his boys to my apartment with an envelope of money. He wanted me to dream about his election chances. When I refused, they told me not to play smart. That night, I packed a small bag and ran to my aunt's place in Surulere. But running doesn't change dreams. The ancestors kept coming. Each time, Lagos was there shining, burning, collapsing, rebuilding. They showed me flooded bridges, markets, turning into malls, children with VR headsets sitting beside barefoot beggars. A Lagos of wealth and waste, hope and hunger side by side. The chalk-faced woman always ended with the same words. The future is not fixed. We only echo what your people choose. Will you remember or will you forget? I don't claim to understand it all. Sometimes I wonder if it's just madness. But other times, like when I'm sitting in traffic on Ikorodu Road, watching the city breathe, I feel a strange calm. Like maybe my generation isn't just here to hustle and survive, but to choose. To choose which Lagos our children will inherit. So, when people ask me now what my dreams mean, I tell them, don't see the future. I see possibilities. And each one is waiting for us to decide. And sometimes, when the night is quiet and the generator hums fade, I still hear her voice low, steady, and certain. Remember, and that is how Lagos reminded me that the future is never promised, it is chosen. What would you choose if the ancestors echoed in your dreams? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this folk tale so the lesson spreads. And don't forget, every week we bring you more unforgettable African folk tales and true life lessons. Subscribe now so you never miss the wisdom hidden in our stories.